Welcome back to Moorway South. Quick update on what's been happening on the layout. I've been working on the west section. You'll see from a previous video that I've built the country station, so I've now completed the platform for the station. This is the west section here. We've got the lifting section there, and then the outer loop and the inner loop, and this is the station for this area. There's a section of track that goes behind the platform with a buffer there, and this is the platform. I've used the Metcalfe card kit, which is the stone platform. I found the instructions very comprehensive, as with the previous ones I've made. It's kind of generic instructions, but what I would say is it's very useful to use the longest carriage. In this case I've used my Intercity 125 coach to work out where the template edges would be for the track, and then just followed the instructions to complete that. So you can see here where the track curves round, the platform cuts in a bit to make an allowance for the edge of the coach, and then where it comes round this side here, the longest edge part of the coach here, which is in the middle, misses the edge of the platform there. So again, as with the other jobs I'm doing on here, a lot of it's about planning and preparation. I'm really pleased with it. It's come out really well. The rear layout of the platform with the walls and the steps I copied from the kit for the country station, which is shown on the back of the instructions for that here. I think it's come out really well. I've used some of the wall edging on the ends just to cover up any of the card showing through, and made sure that the overlaps for where the joins are is nice and neat. This self-adhesive strip on the edging, I found that really easy to apply, and it gives a good, nice overall finish to it. It was relatively simple to do. If I turn it over, you'll see how the construction method works on the underside. There are places where the walls have to meet, like here. So what I've done there is I've put behind a strip of card to join the two together, and that's where I put the 90-degree sections on for strength onto there. I've also put lots of cross bracing in just to support any weight that's on top, like buildings that are going to go on. Another tip I've got for you is that, as it says, to leave a nice gap in the edging strips where the platform bends down on the ends. But overall it was pretty simple. I only used a very small part of the all the card available in the kit to make that, so there should be plenty left over for the other side. Recently went to the Worley National Model Railway exhibition at the NEC and bought some lights. I had a look at different stands there. One of the main ones I was going to buy from, I looked at carefully, but found that the lights didn't appear to be very professional. They looked almost handmade, and I think when you're buying a series of lights they need to be consistent. So I plumped for lights from Model Rail UK. There was a couple of guys there I spoke to on the stand, really helpful. Really liked their stuff. Very detailed, very consistent. Also running LED lights for a safety issue is better because they run virtually cold and they're going to last a long time. So I bought some platform lights, which you can see here, and I'll be putting those on in a minute. I also bought another set of lights which are going to go onto the country station, and these are little lantern lights. This is a little old-fashioned lantern light. The green framework is metal, and the LED is sitting in a transparent housing. The wiring goes through the back of the wall and into the inside. It's a neat little light. It's as you'll see later on, it's got a yellow cast to it, like an old gas lamp, and I bought two of these. You can see here on this platform light that the ends of the light have thin wires, two wires. One's enamelled and one's bare, they're coiled up, and then there's these little terminal block units for attaching one end to the lamp and the other end to the power supply. But these are really neat because they've got built-in diodes and resistors to reduce the current flow to protect the lights. So really handy bit of kit. Make sure you don't wire these directly into the 12-volt supply or you will blow the lights. So this is the light at the rear of the station. That's the one at the front of the station. What I've done is I've drilled holes through the wall where the wires come through, and then the little terminal block unit I've stuck inside on the building, and then I've got wires coming off that will go through into the platform. But overall I think they've come out really well. I'm really pleased with it. Really neat little lights, and here they are in the dark. Here's the platform lights in position. This one at the south end. All I've done is cut a hole in the platform and just pushed it through with the wiring. It's not fixed in place. I might end up gluing it in place later, but for now it's just sitting on the platform. I need to do some research to find out if platform lights would be at right angles to the track as they are here, or whether they're going to be the other way around. Hopefully there'll be some pictures online that can show me that. Country stations in place with their small light underneath the canopy, and one on the other side at the rear. So this is the lighting arrangement for the building. As I showed earlier, the wiring for the lantern lamps goes through the back of the wall and then into the blocks which are stuck inside, and then these wires come down and down through a hole to underneath. This arrangement allows me to lift the whole station building off without disconnecting the wiring if I need to change anything or carry out any work on it, and exposes the lighting for underneath. What I've got is these plastic rods which are glued into holes in the board, and they support a warm white LED which is bent over at the top of the rod pointing downwards, and then the wiring which has been attached to the rod using heat shrink sleeving. I had some excellent advice from Richard at Everard Junction about the lighting. He recommended getting these LEDs from Rapid Online, which I did, and was able to bulk order them. These are the yellow ones for this side, and then some white ones for the modern areas of the layout. They're set at a height such that the lights sit inside the roof area of the building, and the light shines down, so that when you're looking in the windows you can't actually see the light itself, it's just the glow that comes out. The reason I've got the lights on the white sticks rather than attached to the inside of the building is, firstly, I didn't anticipate what I was going to do with the lighting when I constructed the building, so I've had to sort of retrofit, which has been easier this way. I did cut holes in the building ready to put the lighting in, so I guess I kind of had an idea I was going to do this. But what I've certainly learned is that in future, if I'm going to light buildings, I'm going to actually put the lights in beforehand, during construction, which will be a lot easier. So as it's set up at the moment, the lights stick up through these holes cut in the platform, which has the advantage I can simply lift up the platform to get underneath if I need to for anything. And now you can see how the wiring is all arranged underneath. So the bottom of the platform lights sticks through the platform, and the wiring comes through there into one of these diode and resistor blocks, and then the wiring goes through, and they're all wired up in parallel to the supply lines, which comes down through here under the board. All I've done is cut holes through the upright card sections to allow the wiring to go through. It allows the platform to keep its structural integrity, and then I've used tape to stick the wiring down just to hold it in place so it doesn't move around and get in the way. I think that's particularly important with these tiny wires that are on the platform lights, because if they get snagged on something and pull out from inside the actual lamp, inside the green metal tubing, there's no way you'd repair it, so it'd be a new light. So it's really important to keep those tied down to make sure that they're secure. This is the wiring arrangement underneath the board. Ignore this cable, that's part of the track feed. Positive supply goes into this linking block here, and negative into this one. There's copper wire which links all these together to the end one where the supply will be put on. and then from there it goes across to these blocks at the rear, which have, I don't know if I can get them there, got some resistors, those 3 resistors in place for the upright lighting for inside the building, the LEDs I showed you. Currently got 1K resistors in there. I'm kind of experimenting at the moment with how bright I want the lights. That seems to be okay at the moment. And then from there the wiring goes from those blocks up in the holes, 2 holes, into the board itself. So then there's one section here which is the wiring for the 3 lights, and another section is the wiring for under the board for the platform lights, and of course the 3rd section which goes through into the building for the lantern lights. Eventually all the power systems for the lighting and points and anything else will come from a dedicated panel, and then with lines such as this that will run under the board layout to the various areas. But for now I've just got a couple of crocodile clips and a 12-volt adapter that I'm running the lighting off. Unfortunately I don't think the video kind of shows the lighting as well as it looks in real life. That's just one of the limitations of this camera, I think. But it looks really impressive. These platform lights, they're not especially bright with the resistor that's fitted to the blocks. Oh, it's not quite standing straight. There we go, that's better. I'm definitely going to need to glue those down once I figure out which orientation they need. But they add a nice little glow to the platform underneath down here, and a nice point of light for the platform itself. There's the other 2 down there. I think that's kind of it. 3 was enough to light up a very small platform that this is. You can see on the outside here the lantern light above the doorway, giving a nice glow, especially with the canopy. It kind of spreads the light really well. I don't know if I can get in behind there to show you the rear. Hopefully that's it there. A bit difficult to get to it with the wall there, but I think it's important to model those areas you can't get to and can't see very well, just so you know that they're there. The interior lights working really well. I think the brightness is about right. You get a nice pattern here on the platform from the bay windows. But one of the issues I have noticed is that you can see the inside of the model because it's not actually been prepared or modelled in any way. So what I've learnt is in future, where I'm not going to model the inside of a building, I'll put tracing paper actually over the windows so that allows the light to come through, but you can't see that there's nothing inside. Obviously those models where there is an interior, it's going to be fine to be lit properly, and I'm going to put the lighting in as I go along so that it's easier to prepare rather than have it holes and lights sticking up. If I can just attach the lights permanently inside and then have wiring that comes discreetly down into the baseboard. One thing I did consider was these cylinders, these loops of tracing paper, which I was able to roll up, something like that, and then put through the hole, and they then popped open to try and cover the windows from the inside. But it didn't really work very well, so I abandoned that, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might just leave it as it is, but we'll see. The other thing I've noticed is that there's areas of lights leaking through in tiny gaps where the construction has taken place. You can see there's little points of light coming through, so what I'm probably going to do is get some little blobs of blue tack on a screwdriver and just poke it into those holes from the inside to block those out. But overall, I'm really impressed with this lighting. It's all LED lighting, so it doesn't draw a lot of current, and you can put a lot of lighting onto a single power source, and it's really impressive. I bought some other items at the Worley show. The first one being the Daypole trackside kiosk and steps to go on the platform. Oddly, when I got it home I realised there wasn't the printed sheet in there, which is for the posters, the signs and the newspapers. But I've emailed the company and they've got my address, and they're going to send me in the post the sheet, so that's good. Get that glued together and can do a bit of painting on that. Also bought a pack of the Metcalfe GWR seats to go on the platform, same as the sample kit I got with the station that went together really easily. And then lastly, from P&D Marsh Models, these packs of figures. There's some boxes and luggage and a cat to go on the station, some sitting people, more items to go on the platform, and finally the porter with his mail trolley. I'm really impressed with the little figures from P&D Marsh. They're metal, I think they might be lead, I'm not sure, but it's certainly a heavy metal. They're really nice quality, relatively cheap. They weren't expensive, and you're only going to buy them once, so I think that's good value for money. What I might do is dumb down the colours on the sitting people. If this is supposed to be an old-fashioned station, maybe set at the period of GWR, people weren't wearing bright clothes. And in fact, nowadays, something I noticed while waiting to go into Worley was that hundreds of people stood around waiting to go in. Very few people wearing bright colours. People generally in crowds and groups wear dark colours, so that's something I'll maybe try and replicate. So here's the platform with a few of the extras in place. The people and boxes and parcels and other items that are in place. As you can see, I've also put the posters up from the Metcalfe kit since I did the video of the construction of it. There's the little cat in there, sat on the boxes by the parcel office. Porter there, benches in place, and a few passengers waiting for their train.